Alrighty, welcome everybody. I hope everyone's been having a great week so far this week. For those of you that are new to my either Facebook or YouTube, my name is Julie Brown. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and welcome. I'm so happy to have you here. So last week I was under the weather, but then I was going to upload week 2, and we've been having internet problems, and they finally got it fixed this morning. So fingers crossed all of this is going to work well tonight. But I will get week 2 done. So for those of you that are new to my channel, what I do is I pick a suite, which is a collection of products that Stampin' Up! Puts together that coordinates together each month, and then I demonstrate cards from that suite. Now the thing about this class is that it is a free class, and on my Facebook page I do put the cuts if you want to craft along with me. But you don't have to have the stamp set. You don't have to have the designer series paper. You can work with what you have at home, and you can follow along using whatever stamps or designer series paper you have at home. So hopefully I will have some of you on here, and I will have some of you following along with me. Also, as I'm going, if you are crafting along with me and I tend to go a little fast, just pop in the comments to ask me to slow down a little bit, and I am more than happy to do so. So anyway, we are working with the Kintsugi Inspirations Suite, and I will have links to that later in both my Facebook and YouTube channels. I wasn't able to get it up because of all of the technical issues that we've been having. I was trying not to put very much into this tonight so that I could just get it up and running. But I will get that uploaded later if you decide, you look at this and you decide that you like it. So anyway, each week I do a new card that is created with that suite of products. And this gives me a good way of showing you guys the potential of each of these suites, because I know that, you know, most of us live on budgets. Most of us have to pick and choose when we get our new catalogs, even though, you know, we'd love to have it all. Which ones we'd like. So my goal is to try to really show you the potential of these suites so that you can make a good decision based on what you would like to purchase. So anyway, but you don't have to purchase anything to be here tonight. I'm going to take care of the housekeeping. Sorry, my throat's getting dry. So if you do decide you'd like to order from me, you can order at julieBrown.stampinup.net. There's my email, and you're either on my Facebook or my YouTube tonight, but there's those two channels. Now the YouTube channel is a little bit different because you have to do Julie Brown Julie's Creative Stamping, and then please make sure you check out my blog. I am trying to work better at getting more fun and new stuff put in there, but it's got a lot of great information in there about stamping and different techniques and things to do. So I would love for you to visit that, and make sure that you follow, subscribe, all of the good stuff. Also, if you see a video that you like, I would love it if you would share it to someone who you think would benefit from seeing my my creative endeavor on these things. All right, so the way this works is this class is free. Now, if you decide that you want the card kits that I do, and the card kits means I will do the bases, I will do all the pieces. If there's any dies that need to be cut out, all of that will be cut out for you ahead of time. The only thing you will have to do is the stamping. Stampin' Up! Does not allow us to stamp for you, so you would need to either have the stamp set I'm using or stamp with another set, but still use all of the card kits that I'm going to send you. So if you place a $40 order with me in the month of August, you will get the 4 card kits that I am demonstrating this month. And I will get week 2's up. Hopefully I'll be able to work on that over the weekend, and I'll get that up so that you guys can see that one. But if you purchase the suite, you're going to get 8 card kits, because I have actually designed 8, sometimes 10 cards during the month, because I usually do 2 in my in-person card class. And so if you purchase, it doesn't even have to be the Kintsugi Inspirations Suite. If you purchase any suite from me in the month, you will get the 8 card kits with PDFs, which are downloadable instructions. So anyway, guys, let's get started and see what we're going to do tonight. All right, so again, this is the, so inside each suite, there's a bundle, and this is the bundle, and it's called the Inspiring Imperfections Bundle. So yeah, this is a $42 purchase. So yeah, if you were to purchase this month, you would get the 4 card kits that I'm showing you. All right, so let's talk about what we need for tonight's card. Again, I did post it on my Facebook page. And I am using Stampin' Up! Colors. You're gonna obviously use the colors that you have on hand that match whatever designer series paper that you're using. Oh, also, if you're new to the channel and you have any questions, make sure you pop them in the comments. And let me know you're here. I love to know when people are here. So this is my Blackberry Bliss. And then you're also gonna need another Blackberry Bliss or whatever cardstock you're using, 2x3. And then you're gonna need a 1/2 inch by 4 1/4 of designer series paper. You are going to need 2 4 by 5 1/4 basic white pieces. And then this particular suite comes with, this is a 12 by 12 sheet, but obviously I've cut it down. But if you're following along with this suite with me, you're going to need to be able to cut out a vase and a cup out of this. So the cool thing about Stampin' Up! Is they design their dies. Let me just show you really quick. So if you look at this page, the vase obviously cuts out the vase, and the cup cuts out the cup, and then this flower also gets cut out with the dies. So that's one of the cool things that Stampin' Up! Does, which I kind of consider part of their coordination, is they actually design and coordinate their designer series paper in such a way that sometimes your dies will cut out some of the designs on the paper. So we're actually going to start with the die cutting tonight, because that is, I need to have these pieces out. So I'm going to cut out this one and this one. And then I'm going to use a punch that's a retired punch on this, but we'll do that in a second. So let's get the die cutting done. Let me switch over to the die cut machine. Again, if you guys have any questions while I'm going through this, just make sure you reach out and let me know. Can you still see that? This was supposed to have a light, and I don't know. It's not coming on. Okay. There's always something, isn't there? Nothing can ever just go right. All right, so we're gonna lay that down, and that pretty much takes up the whole space. So we're just gonna do these one at a time. So if you didn't get all your stuff together ahead of time and you're scrambling to get it, this will give you a little bit of time to get caught up with me. And so we're going to run that through. Oopsie. So there's that one. Set it over on the other table. And then I'm going to bring in this other piece. Now you do have to cut this down. And I might have to cut it down really quick again. Let me grab my paper snips. Because this is only 6 inches wide, and I don't like any of the paper hanging over. I think it just lends to, you know, problems happening with your dies, or just, you know, don't want to mess up my die cut machine. So you always want to make sure that you have things cut down so that it will fit into the die cut machine. All right, and then we're going to do this one. And these are the flowers. So we're going to do a big flower and a small flower. Oh, I guess I need to do the cup. So this card is actually going to go together pretty quick tonight. I did say it's a quick and easy card. The nice thing is when you do end up using a lot of the designer series paper, it really does help with how quickly you can do these cards. All right, so let's pull this back out. We're going to pull up all these pieces. So I'm just going to kind of leave this stuff there. I do always make sure that I put my dies back on. I make a magnetic, I don't know if you guys saw that, but I do a magnetic sheet. And what I do is it comes on this white piece of paper. It's all kind of glued to that. And so I go and I get, show you what I do. I get these vent covers from like Lowe's or Home Depot. They come in 3 in a pack, and I cut them down and then place them on there. So I've had some people that have said, you know, why? Hey, I got one of my newest customers ordered her dies, and she was used to coming to my card class, and was like, how come my dies didn't have the magnetic sheet in it? And I was like, oh, sorry. That's something that I do. So now I'm just gonna push these out, and then we'll clean it up. And again, I'm making sure I put my dies right back where they go. So I am looking at kind of changing the time that I go live, because I've had fewer and fewer people on with me. And so I'm thinking maybe I need to change it up. Seems like, you know, this is not always a good time at night for everybody. I know people are trying to get dinner together. And so I'm looking at maybe doing a morning one and seeing how that goes, but we'll see. I'll let you guys know in advance. All right, so the other thing I want to do is, this is one of our old, it's a scalloped punch. And it's Stampin' Up, and it's a really old one, but it's always been one of my favorite. And so if you ever find one of these, or if you ever see one of these, the way they work, I don't know if, can you guys see the pattern that's right here? So what you're going to do is you're going to take this and you're going to put this in here. So that way, for those of you that maybe have one and have forgotten how to use it, and then you're going to punch it. Then what you're going to do is, I always go to the left first, and I'm going to line up these little pieces that are coming out into that design. And then we're going to punch it again. Okay, so it did this side. Well, now I need this side done. So same thing. I'm just going to shove this in here. Not shove, slide it in there. Line it up with the scalloped, like the tops of the scallops are in the design. And then we're going to punch. And there we go. We've got 2 sides. Now I usually cut mine a little bit bigger than what I need, just so that, just in case there's one side that punches that I don't like, then I can make sure that it gets on the way that it's supposed to, or I have enough room. So like in this case, I like this edge better than this edge, so I'll be able to line it up. And excuse my fingers, I have been working on junk journals today. And so I've been gluing a lot, and I keep washing my hands, and it looks like my hands are peeling, and it's the glue. Okay, so I'm going to do kind of what I call a dry run with this. I'm going to kind of come in and look at like where all of this is going to end up sitting. Because I'm trying to figure out how high I want to go down here. So I think I can come down a little bit more. So I'm going to go ahead and bring in my, this is actually the Tombow liquid glue. I've just put it in this little container because it makes it easier for me sometimes when it's not all clogged on the end. I had someone else using one of these. This must have been the one she used in class. And I noticed she was leaving the lid off, which usually means that it's going to clog, the glue's going to get kind of, it's going to dry up kind of down in the little area. So usually what I do is I'll just take some alcohol, and I'll soak that little tip in alcohol to get it to loosen up the glue. Okay, so I'm just gonna, and the reason I like to use liquid glue in this particular case is because I'm gonna be kind of shifting it around a little bit. Okay, so I'm gonna bring it about right there. And then we're going to try to lay this down so that it's straight. But now do you see why I go a little bit bigger? I always cut it. So like this is 4 inches wide. And so I cut this 4 1/4 inches wide. So I had plenty of room to make sure I could get this lined up the way I wanted it. Okay, so now we're going to flip it over. We're going to cut off this extra piece. Whoopsie. All right. Now the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm actually stamping some of the like branch images on here as well, but I want them to be kind of behind the vase and the cup. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lay this down, and then that kind of shows me where the top of the vase is going to be. And so then what I do is I just kind of lift it up out of the way, and then I'm going to lay that down like so. That just helps me with the lining it up. So now I'm going to pop this back on here, and then I'm going to pop this into place where it's going to be sitting. And now I'm going to come in with this longer one. We're going to ink it up with Mossy Meadow. And do you see how I just kind of use this as my guide to where that's going to lay down? Now, once I have that one down, it's easy for me to kind of see where to put this one. I can move this now because it's basically going to just kind of connect right here so that it looks like it's all one branch. Okie doke. So there we go. Oh, I have one more place to stamp this, sorry. And I am going to bring in some scrap paper. I don't need to have scrap paper because I can stamp directly on the glass and then clean it up. But then I have to kind of let the glass dry during my lives, and so I don't like doing that. So I wanted to do another one of these, kind of like right here. All right, just like so. All right, so let me bring my chamois in so I can clean these two. And then we're going to go ahead and stamp our sentiment. And I always like to stamp off before I clean it. It just helps with getting, like, you know, as much of the ink as you can off of it. But you do need to be careful. Like, see, this has like a darker area right here. Do be careful when you're using if you're using basic white. Be careful with where you're placing your card, because you could end up sticking it right where, like right on top of that, and then it would, I somehow got something on here. Don't know what that is. But if you laid it on here and it was still wet, you could mess up your card. Okay, so now what I want to do is I'm going to bring in, do I even have it over here? I have moved so much of my stuff around, I don't even know where half my stuff is. I'm actually going to use this, which is not ideal. But I'm going, actually, it's okay. I've got the glass mat there. We're good. We're good. Don't know what I was thinking. Okay, so what I'm going to do is on these two pieces, I want the flowers to be coming out of the vase. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to trade out the top. This is my putty end. So I'm going to unscrew this, and I'm going to bring in my craft knife tip. So there's an extra, if you guys don't know that, with the Take Your Pick tool, there is an extra set of crafting tools that you can get that fit on the two tips of these. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this, and we're just going to slice into that. And then what I'm going to do is just kind of push that down just to make sure it opened with my little craft tip there. Okay. And then I am going to put the cover on this so that I don't grab this up and then make a mess. All right. Okay, so now we are ready. Oh, let me do the stamping on the inside, sorry. So, oh, and since I'm getting the Blackberry Bliss out, what did I do with it? So on the front here, we're going to stamp a I'm here for you. I need a sympathy one. I have some people that just lost their son. It wasn't a surprise he had cancer, but I want to send them a sympathy card. So, but just understand, if you're doing this, you know, even if you have this same set, if you want to make this a birthday card, make it a birthday card. You know, if you want to make it a happy anniversary, congratulations. Just remember, one of the best things that you can have, and I call them tools. One of the best tools that you can have in your arsenal is a bunch of sentiment stamp sets, because then you can turn any card into whatever you need it to be. And so you guys, anyone who knows me knows that I love the sentiment stamp sets. And so I have a lot of them. And then what I'm going to do down here on the bottom is we have this, in this set, we have these little flowers. And I'm going to stamp these. Actually, I forgot. I did stamp the Mossy Meadow down here first. So I did put this down here. So this went first. And then what's cool about this, I'm going to re-ink this because I let it set a little bit, is it has the right curve. These flowers have the perfect curve to fit right onto that branch. Isn't that cool? Kind of like they were designed that way. Wahaha. Oh my goodness. Okay. And then the other part of this sentiment, and it is part of this stamp set, is it says, I know you'll get through this and be stronger for it. Which I know sometimes when we lose somebody, we don't want to hear that we're going to be stronger. I know better than most. For those of you that don't know, I lost my daughter 3 years ago, and it's been a tough 3 years. And I'm not sure I'm stronger yet, but I'm getting there. All right, so we're going to just stamp that up at the top, like so. And then let's clean all these off, and then we're going to almost be done with this card. I told you this was going to be a super quick card tonight. So I'm going to go ahead and put this on the inside of that card base so I don't end up getting it messed up. So I'm not seeing any comments. Not sure there's anyone on. But if you do end up watching the replay, just know that you can put comments in. I will see them eventually. And I will come back and either, especially have, oh, I shouldn't have laid that down. That was not smart. I forgot I had paper here. I'm used to just having my glass mat, which I can lay the adhesive down because it doesn't stick to the glass. Yeah, so if you have any questions or comments and you're watching the replay, put them in because I will see them. All right, so here we go. Oh, no. Okay, I'm glad that happened. I don't know if you guys saw, I had some on, so it made this smudge here. So I'm going to fix it by bringing back in my Blackberry Bliss, and we're just going to stamp those little flowers up there. Okay, we're going to make it look like I totally meant to do that. Oh my heck. So don't ever freak out if you do what I just did and it gets messed up, because you can definitely fix almost any problem. I'm going to say if I had put like a huge thumbprint, that would be a little bit harder to fix. Oh my heck, I'm getting so hot. It's been hot here in New Mexico, which is where I'm at. And we have all the air running, but I'm kind of down in the basement and the air doesn't always make its way down here. I do have a fan way across the room, but I think I only have it on number 1 and it needs to be on like 500 because it is hot. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, since I'm going to start building on this now, again, I'm going to go ahead and put it on the card front. And that's just the habit that I get into, is like I do kind of all the flat stuff. So like this is what we consider, like, you know, it's going on the card front. So I do all my flat stuff first. And even though I'm not popping anything up tonight, I always, once all the flat stuff is on, oh my gosh, I've got more, managed to get some more over there. So I may have to do another little doohickey. We'll see. I do have an eraser. Where is that color coming from? I think I just found it. I like literally stuck my hand right in the middle of that color. I was like, why does that keep coming off? All right. So anyway, I do it so like it's all going to be flat. And especially if I were going to be like using dimensionals and popping it up, I always want this on first, and then I'm going to build the dimensional on here, because it's a lot harder to build it over here and then try to get glue on the back of this when you've got stuff popped up. So that's just my preference. Okay, so now we're going to come in with this one, and then we're going to come in with this little one here, and it's just going to kind of stick down. Remember how I got that to open using that little knife? So I'm going to put just a dab of glue. Actually, that's probably enough right there, just to kind of hold this in place while I make sure that I like the way it's lining up, because I want to be able to see my Mossy Meadow branch in there. Okay, so I'm liking that. So now I'm just going to turn this over, and we are going to add glue. And these dies are actually good dies to, if you guys have the adhesive strips. You know how you can put those adhesive strips on the back of your cardstock before you cut out your die, and then it just basically turns them into stickers. So this flower would be a good candidate for that. All right. Okay, so now I'm going to do the same thing here. And I think this is going to be the part that goes down here. So I'm just going to kind of do a dry run. So we may do this one a little bit lower. Maybe bend it this way so we can still see those branches. Okay. So now again, I'm just going to take some glue, hold that for a hot second, and now we're going to add all the glue. But you'll notice I don't hit every single little spot. I just try to focus on bigger areas, and then like something like this that might get torn off if it was if it's gonna like go through the mail or something. You want everything, you want all the tips to kind of be secured down in place. Alrighty, so there's that. Now we're going to bring in our gems. These are the flower accents, and I don't know if you guys can see it in the, look how pretty those are. They actually look like little flowers, and they're so pretty. I'm actually going to put one right there because that little spot is driving me batty. I don't know where it came from, how it got there. again, I've always said embellishments were created for when we kind of make some little mistakes on our cards. Alrighty. And then you can see I've got that purple thing right there. I was trying to see because I kind of wanted to show you. Oh yeah, I see it up there. So if you guys don't have one of these little tools that I'm fixing to show you, these are called, and I think I got them on Amazon. They're called Mono Sand Erasers. And so when you get a little bit of color like I just did right there, you can use this sand eraser. And you just do like a little layer, like a layer at a time. You don't like get real heavy-handed with it. But look, it just took that right out. So that might be a tool that you aren't aware of that you can use for that. And then we're done, guys. There we go. I'm here for you. But look how easy that was because I used the dies and the designer series paper for both this piece and this piece. I had to do just very little stamping. And then on the inside, it says, I know you'll get through this and be stronger for it. All right, guys. So there you go. We are week 3. I'm going to show you week 1 just in case you missed it. And of course, week 2, I missed. But I will be getting that up here pretty soon. So these are the 2 cards that I've showed you so far. And so this one I used a lot of the elements. We did a lot of die cutting. I brought in this spotlight on nature. You can go back to week 1 and watch this one. And then this is the one we did today, changing up the colors completely. And then I can't wait for you guys to see week 2 because it's really fun because I'm actually creating a design with the vases. And so it's going to be super fun. Hey, Cheryl. Oh, you're in hot Southern California. Yeah, it's just like, it's been getting up to like 96, 97 here. So it's been crazy. And we use, and I don't know if in California, probably not because you guys have humidity, but we use what we call swamp coolers here. And they really don't, they only make it about 10 to 20 degrees cooler than it is outside. So when it gets up into the 90s, we're struggling. So thank you for joining me, Cheryl. I'm so happy to have you with me tonight. So hopefully I've inspired you. Since you love this suite, I've inspired you to make some of these cards. And like I said, if you go to my, and I will do all the card cuts. I will upload those later in this. I don't know if I think you're watching me on YouTube. But if you are watching me on YouTube, I am going to put the card cuts on here so you can come in, look at the card cuts, watch the replay, and make it. This one was super simple tonight. So anyway, guys, thank you for everybody who's here tonight. I appreciate you guys being here. Oh, let me put that up one more time. Kintsugi Inspirations Suite is the one that I am focusing on this month. I will get week 2 up since I was sick last week. And then my internet went down and they just got it fixed this morning. So I will get that one up. So be watching for that. It's going to be pre-recorded and it'll be uploaded into both YouTube and Facebook. But guys, thank you so much for being here. I always appreciate so much when you guys lend me your time and craft along with me. It's so much more fun when I have people that are here. So everybody have a great evening, and I will be back next Wednesday and be watching for the week 2. You guys aren't